Hello. For you, no time has passed, but it's been a couple hours now. Sorry for the constant cuts and the odd editing, but I was going to try to do all this in one go as I go through these skins for one last time, and but it's just not going to work out that way. One go would take me a while, and well, between life and my headaches, they've been kind of bad lately. They just wouldn't work out. So anyway, this is the movie. Well, the movie version of Black Adam, or as close as they could get in the game, because it's odd how sometimes there's copyright issues, even when within DC. I know they did that with Superman on one of his skins. Then they had to go back and modify it because they conflicted with the comic book rights or some weird thing like that. I don't know how, but they had to modify his Red Sun outfit. But yeah, Black Adam's costume here from the movie. That's really cool. And so anyway, it's just been it's been busy this month. Plus, we've been getting, I'll try to keep aware and keep the skin changes going as I talk. But we've also been setting up DC United's alliance in other games like Marvel Strike Force. I think there were DC United of DCL. And the same thing in Injustice 2 on mobile. But or is it just DC United on mobile, on Injustice 2? I don't remember now, but it's Midnight Q as the leader. And they, I think this is a Rebirth skin. That's why he's red. So we've also set up alliances in DC Heroes and Villains, which is the puzzle game. And I think we're DC United of DCL in there. Yeah, so it's Injustice 2 mobile where we're just DC United. So we were able to use our original name there. And the other two, I had to change it because there were already a couple of DC United teams in there. So we've been getting all those ready. And I'm still haven't really set up the descriptions and stuff because I'm trying to figure out how that's all visible to the public versus what's visible to our internal team. And they're new to me, so I haven't got officers set up yet. Oops, that was fast. Let me do that again. Brainiac's original skin as Rebirth. It's Killer Frost. That's the one they made for her later on. There's her original, and her spiky, icy suit. That was her Rebirth costume, and then they did this here. Atrocitus. Ooh, there's his death suit, or his Black Lantern costume. This is original there. I always liked these better, because on all the lanterns, I like that extra light armor that they have. Oh, I did it again. I just meant to go next. Keeping track of what I'm doing while talking, that'll be fun too. Sinistra's White Lantern costume. I think that was the only two he had. Jace Fox Batman. He's actually really good in the game, and it's a shame Bruce never got his Batman character to be that good. But it's weird because it's like they did the opposite of Bruce, where Bruce hides in the shadows, Jace Fox taunts and hides in the light. Basically, attracts attention, where Bruce is trying to hide from it and then strike from the shadows. And I think the shadows was something they could never quite get working right. Now this is the skin. When they announced the ending, I wanted to get him up to RB5 before they started making everything for free, and I just barely did it. His original, that's not his original, but it's the Starro skin. It's funny because he only had 2, and now he's got like 4. So that's his original. There's the Rebirth. You saw the Starro, and then you had his movie version. That movie version just looks really cool. I'll spin around so you can see everything. I love how they put the lighting around the dark, so you kind of have that contrast of light and dark. And I really do like the Blue Beetle. I got introduced to him through the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon, and just really liked. I kind of liked how they played him off of Batman, because they kind of play him as the new hero, and Batman's trying to coach him. And of course, in that cartoon, Batman's a great coach, unlike Batman Beyond, where he coaches Terry, but he's hard on him, So he doesn't play well with others. But in Batman Brave and the Bold, he worked well with others. It was all about team ups. That was a little more of a kid happy-go-lucky cartoon too, but it was fun. They had the Reach storyline in there and everything. Superboy, the way I remember him, the way I know him, I didn't care for when they aged him up. I liked him I liked Super Sons, and I missed that comic when it went away. There's his fancy spacesuit, kind of similar to Connor's. Connor and him had a similar suit, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's from the comics or just something they thought would kind of be a cool correlation between those two. I don't know all the comics. I know a few that I started reading more as an adult. Some as a teenager, but it's just, it's always an issue of money back then. It's always an issue of money. It's Reverse Flash. There's his fancy speed suit, but I kind of like this more classic look better. But yeah, Blue Beetle, I got him RB5 before everything became available for free. There's Cheetah's human form. There's her original Rebirth. I've been playing some of the newer costumes because I hadn't had a chance to. It's nice to kind of change up the look and feel, but I never got Martian Manhunter built up, so I was always using Cheetah to counter him. And then Atrocitus, and of course people don't care for that too much because of it's like Wonder Girl for me. When I got tired of Wonder Girl all over the place, people got tired of Atrocitus all over the place. So sometimes I'll still like using Atrocitus because I really like using him with, especially with Supergirl. It's a fun combo, but it doesn't take much thinking. You just do it. It's great for when you were busy on the go and just wanted a quick match. Actually, it's great for if you wanted to just win quickly. And there's times I was just too busy to try to think of a strategy team. I just wanted to kind of get through it. Oh, let's do boosters better. We'll spin them around too. So show off the costumes a little bit. Some of these Rebirth costumes, I think they were unique to the game. Some people at the start didn't like them. They were actually putting up messages, not Rebirth. I'm sorry, Legendary costumes. I'm getting my terminology mixed up. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get comments below. But some of those Legendary costumes were so different. A lot of people didn't like them. They're like, oh, don't make them Legendary. You're going to lose access to the costume. Because back then you couldn't change back and forth. It was one of the things the newer devs did that the older devs didn't do, was they gave us the ability to change our costumes and go back to the old ones. And if you didn't have them Legendary or Rebirth yet, Rebirth allows you to go back and forth between the old and the new. And if you didn't have, there's your classic look. If you didn't have them Rebirth yet, you could spend 1,000 gems to change costumes, and then it was a one-time payment. You could just switch back as much as you wanted. Yeah, I'm just gabbing here while I go through these. The real content is just going through the different costumes. She's got her cape. Whoa, that it's weird because when I change it, it's instant changing, but I think the game is reporting back, so it saves what I have my setting to. So there's a little pause there I gotta be careful of. This is different because she doesn't have her cape, but it's kind of a coat. I don't know. I'm not a fashion person. I just wanted to show these off so I could remember it. There's the Blue Beetle. Not even it's Ted Cord. What was his predecessor? Dan Garrett, was it? Yeah, Dan Garrett was the first Blue Beetle. Ted Cord was the second. Then we had Jaime. They did his kit very well. A lot of people thought they should have done Jaime's kit like Ted's first, and then just had him right out of the gate. I don't know though. Ted's got more gadgety type stuff. Uh-oh. You know what? These are so similar to me. I forget which is which now. That's okay. I think this is the Legendary one. The Katana, that was her special costume. I don't remember what they called this one, but look at that blade. That sword is so cool. And her costume, I love the colors on this red and black. I like her classic look a little bit better because that's how I know her. That's what Katana looks like. But then there's her Legendary. This was really cool. I like this one too, even though she looks very pale. I don't quite understand that, but that's probably because of her sword, I'm guessing. But this costume, even though it's not how I kind of think of her when I think of Katana, I just love the color scheme, and I like the helmet. It almost, although it almost makes me think of Shredder's helmet a little bit, but not quite. But it reminds me of Shredder's helmet. That's kind of, maybe that's why I like it, because it reminds me of that helmet. I like that helmet. Owlman, Thomas Wayne Jr., Bruce's older brother in the other world. Yeah, I think he witnessed, in his world, he witnessed the death of his parents and his little brother in the alleyway. So there's Power Girl. This was her latest costume. This is one of those ones that they released recently with all the other all the other costumes. And of course, we got her original costume, legendary. And then this one came out this summer, I think. I'm terrible remembering when things came out. But they the whole half cape look I always thought that was kind of weird. I don't quite. I'll have to look that up sometime as to why she wears half a cape sometimes. But like even Shazam's cape, he wears his cape kind of funny because it's like loose around his neck, and sometimes I remember seeing it spin around his shoulder or something. Shazam, Captain Marvel, the first Captain Marvel. I flip flop on his name. I used to when I was a kid. I called Captain Marvel Shazam because that was the name of the comic book. That was the name of the song when they sang it at the beginning of the cartoon. And then Dad would correct me, and I got used to calling Captain Marvel. It took a long time to call him that. Then they switch it to Shazam officially, and I'm mixed up on the name all the time. That gold and black costume was the one they came out with recently, but there's her original look. She was like the special for pre-signing up for the game, if I remember right. I always liked this Wonder Woman. She was cool. Even when before her kit got reworked and made a little bit better, I liked her just because of the unique look to her. And then there's her armor look. And then this black and gold and white look. This was cool. This is part of that same thing I showed you with Catwoman. But it looks like they're all going to have more of a uniform color. And I don't know if... It makes me wonder when they made them all match, if that was going to be a special group that they made a special gameplay mode for. I don't know that. It might have just been a design thing that they wanted to do for fun. Maybe it was something quick they were able to throw together for the end here. I don't know. But I really like the way that looked. And there's Green Lantern, John Stewart, him and Hal. I'll flip back. They're the only two I'll ever refer to as just the Green Lantern. If I've already established which one, if I remember that I've already started talking about one or the other. If I'm talking about both, I'll talk about John and Hal. Because when I grew up watching Super Friends, I got used to calling Hal Green Lantern. Back then I called all of them by their, superhero names, not their first name because I didn't know it. But then when the Justice League animated series came out, John Stewart was the Green Lantern, and I got used to calling him the Green Lantern. And then when I started, I get used to Kilowog and oh my goodness, Medfill. I was going to say Broccoli Head. That was the name everybody affectionately called him in the game. That was funny. I remember hearing the devs talk about that on a podcast. They say, everyone's calling him Broccoli Head. It's hilarious. Arcus Chummock. But yeah, John and Hal are the only two I ever just called Green Lantern for a time, and then long enough that I sometimes will just call them Green Lantern, and then I gotta specify which one I'm talking about. Especially if I'm flipping back and forth between the two. There's Hot Girl. I've never seen this costume until recently. I must have missed it the first time it was in the store. I can't remember what the title of it was, though, because I'm not familiar with that costume. I'm mostly familiar with this one. This is much more her classic look than her legendary look. And I then got this one recently, so I've been using it for a little while. Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis. And I honestly, after all this time, I don't remember which one was the original look. I think it was this one without the wings. But I usually think of this, but he would kind of, in the cartoon, if I remember right, it's been forever since I've seen that. I think the wings would come out once in a while, or something. It wasn't always out. I think he was usually like this when fighting. But it was always weird because this costume was almost perfect, except they made his eyes red. I would have gone with his white eyes there. But I do like that. I like the same thing about his costume I like about Blue Beetle's. It's got the black costume, and then the highlights of the red kind of on certain parts of the costume, and that, to me, I really like that. I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a neon sign, which might be why I like it. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Guy Gardner with his Mo haircut. I think I like this one a little better. I like this one better because his costume's more Green Lantern themed, and you got the lantern symbol on his jacket. Here, he has a G for Green Lantern, but he doesn't have the lantern symbol. That's I know that's one of his costumes, though. It just strikes me as kind of weird, though. I prefer the green. If I could have swapped heads around, or if I had the opposite swapping heads, I probably would have flip-flopped on either one. I don't care for the Mo haircut, but it is funny with Guy, because that's just how I remember him. Raven. It's her original look. That one's just creepy, but that was her legendary look. And then there's that one. I like this one. Giganta. She's got several costumes too. Original. The legendary. I'm going to say rebirth once in a while. You know that's going to happen. And then the I don't remember what they called this one, but they just that was the one they came up with. I like this one. She was really hard to use in the game though, because it seemed like they changed her kit a couple times and never. I'm still talking about her, so I'll go back to her. She seemed like she was a taunter, but she didn't really have a what do they call it, a tank kit. She had like I think they said striker kit. I'm terrible with knowing what the difference is or how to know the difference. So, but either way, she was meant for attacks, but she was also meant to take hits. But those guys that could debuff and put buff immunity on people just murdered her. It was hard to use her. But it seemed like the more you ranked her up, the better she got exponentially, and that was great. Until, of course, everybody else ranks up with her and gets up there to her. But I know she just kept getting better and better and better, but I haven't really used her for a while, and I haven't even had a chance to use her in this last month. There is Superman. When I saw this costume, I just went, wow. That gold, the black, the white, everything just, it just looked awesome on him. And when I saw what they were doing with everybody else, that just wowed me. That was just really cool. Oh, his face. Check out his face. It's weird because almost every costume change was Superman. And they do this with the others. Some of the others had face changes too. But if you notice when he changes, his face looks different. This is the original. This is how he looks. Kind of a, standard Superman. Then you go here. This is his, now I think that's the same face as his regular, as the standard one. This is his legendary. When you come here, his face is a little different. I mean, yeah, his hair is different. But he looks like kind of an older Superman. Then you change it again, and that's a different face. The younger Superman looks a little closer to the original, but not quite. And this is the Red Sun one. And I don't remember what they modified on this. I think they even offered a refund if you didn't like it or something. I don't remember how that worked. But anyway, so the face is it's a little different. I'm going to have to look back. This one still looks, to me, it looks a little like the first one, but not quite. It looks a little different to me. That one's really different, but this is the same one I think they use on the statue, which I like this face the best. I ran this, and I like the black suit. The statue. I think that one and the black suit is the same face. I don't care for I call it the statue because there's the statue of Superman in one of the levels, and it's golden, like the Superman, and he's just the golden Superman. It looks like they took the statue and made it a character. Then there's Circus Superman, the strongman suit, which his costume, which is weird. The whole point of Superman having the red underwear on the outside was because it was based on a strongman suit. Here they have a strongman Superman, and they didn't give him the red underwear, which is what those guys in the circus would wear back then. But the weird part about this, too, with that mustache, he looks a lot like he should be singing some Queen songs. All Freddie Mercury Superman. But this Superman, I don't know what it is, but his face it looks cool. I like it. It looks like Superman. It was like, whoa, that's Superman's face. It's different from the others. It might be the same as the black suit Superman. I'll look again, but they look a little different each time. And maybe it's just the different costume. But wow, that costume, that gold, white, and black, that just looks really good. And it looks good on all the characters. I was just like, wow. Because if I could run more teams with just that costume style on it, that would look sweet. It's like here, we're the Justice League, but instead of wearing individual costumes, we're all going to just organize and be a team costume. There's Batman's costume. This looks cool too. Same thing, white, black, and gold. I saw his second, so I wasn't as wowed as I was with Superman's, but it's great. Love it. There's the original. There's Arkham. I'm kidding. Arkham Batman. This is actually doesn't matter, the original and the legendary costume both look like they could be right out of the Arkham games. That was how someone described it. He said he described this as the Batman from the Arkham games. There's, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. Is that the Robert Pattinson Batman costume? I don't remember. Because there's this one here, and I get those two turned around, and I haven't even seen that Batman movie yet. I will have to make it a point to get that movie sometime and watch it. I hate renting movies, because by the time the movies go on sale, you might as well just buy them instead of renting them. you just watch them whenever you want. And I was just waiting for a sale on that, and I'll have to look and see if they got one. Oh wait. I wasn't done yet. Starro Batman, and then back to the new one. So we got Hawkman. He's got his. I think this is his. I don't remember. We'll cycle around, and then I'll know for sure. No, the Black Lantern Hawkman. I just got that one. Starro Hawkman. There's his classic look. That's what you're gonna probably think of. He's got his mace. Love the spikes on that thing. I would not want to be hit with that thing. That would hurt so bad. And then Legendary Hawkman. I do like some of these legendary looks. Although I don't know, the shields that'd be great. But look at his mace. They changed it to an axe. I don't know which would be hurt worse. I mean, with the axe, you could actually cut off a limb or something. With the mace, you'd be all gnarled up if you get, you know, if you got hit by it, it would hurt either way. It doesn't matter. Donna Troy, that's her. Oh my goodness, I can't remember what that costume's called, but it's the one with the stars on it. There's her first one, I think, her original look. They changed her face. A lot of people didn't like it, and I thought it looked fine myself. I kind of thought it seemed somewhat accurate. I personally thought this one looked a little more cartoonish. It looked like it looked like they kind of opened her eyes up a little more. Maybe that's what people wanted. I don't know. They just thought it looked awful, and I had a different take on it. I thought it looked okay, but I would have just gone with an alternate face on one of the costumes. There's her legendary look. Oh yeah, her shield. I think her shield changes. I need to remember to turn these around. There's her, yeah, the shields do change. Let's go back to the original and see what that one looks like. Oh, maybe that looks like the other one. Actually, I think it's the same design. This one just looks darker, but these two are more lit up. The other ones. Anyway, I'm going to leave her on this one, so I'll probably use her later. That's the costume I want her on. We got Kyle Rayner's first appearance as Parallax, which was funny because he was Parallax for a while, but not as long as Hal. I was actually surprised they didn't ever do, and maybe they were going to. We don't know. They didn't have any come out recently, so they weren't planning on it in the next year or in the next wave of skins. But I'm surprised they didn't release a Hal Jordan version of Parallax. There's the original look. And it's saving, but it takes longer to save sometimes. What is that skunk hair going on? Is it the same on this one? I guess it is. But yeah, and then of course a lot of people wanted a regular Green Lantern skin version of Kyle Rayner because we never got that. We did get another Kyle Rayner, but he was a White Lantern. Black Canary, look at that. The white, golden, black look. And it just looks really cool. Of course, you got your original classic look for Dinah. There's her legendary. Oh, wait, is that the legendary? They came out. I think that's the legendary. Yeah. That's Starro. And there's the other new one. But, I mean, yeah, the reason I was kind of questioning is because the hair was. I didn't remember her hair having that darker spot on the legendary look. But yeah, I don't remember what this was called. This was kind of the last prize skin, I think, from the last month's Siege. I might be wrong. Not Siege, Raid. But I might be wrong, but I think that's where I got that one. But I really like these gold, black, and white ones. Captain Cold, that's his original look. I like running that the most, but he's got some cool costumes. That's his legendary one. I like that. It's kind of really neat, too. I like his backpack on this one. I should have spun it around before so you could see his gear. Then there's... I'm so sorry, Flash fans, but I don't remember what this costume was from or what it was called, but I almost called him Grandfather Cold. AKA Santa Claus. Without the red costume. He loses the backpack. That's kind of cool with some of these skins. They totally remove gear and stuff from these guys. That's so wild. Yeah, he doesn't even have a backpack. They added on the legendary. That's kind of crazy. It's funny how you don't notice some things until you go back through looking in I guess I'll call this the locker. Second John Stewart, Ultraviolet Lantern, otherwise known as the evil John Stewart. How'd they classify him? Is he a villain or is he? I don't know. because he's still good, but he was going through a series. I remember he was going through a series of depression because he'd seen his lanterns die. He'd seen his lantern corps die, and he was trying to bring forth justice in a very angry way, but I don't remember all the ins and outs of that story. I like the glowing costume though. It's a bit much, but we call him John Stewart Prime. Looks like a transformer. It's great. I love it. Bleeze. And then here's her non-legendary look. This is her classic look. But I think I like the fire wings better. It's just they're on fire. Look at that. If you ever watch me play Fortnite, you know I like my lava series, and I can be a little pyromaniac sometimes. I like to watch the campfire, you know? It's cool. Yeah, but sir, time travel brought him into this story. For the event when they had the whole story about time travel, and I can't remember who called him out on that set, claiming he was out of time and needed to go back. I think he was confronting Ultraviolet John Stewart. I think they came out together, if I remember that story right. Mr. Freeze. I still give him the voice of Arnold in my head when I hear him talk. Everybody, chill. But the guy that did the animated series in the 90s was great too. Hello, Batman. I'm not gonna. I don't do that very well. I don't do that one any justice though. I know this is his newer look, but I never got used to that little tiny mohawk. It's just it's hard to see behind the letters, a heart of ice, but it's just so there. You can kind of see it there, but it's so weird to see that to me because I'm used to him being bald. Or I think the '60s Batman had a full head. He had a full head of hair, but that was most of the time. I'm just used to seeing him bald, you know. It's just weird to see a little tuft of hair. The Atom Smasher. I always thought he was leaning too far forward in this. And then one thing I would have loved in DC Legends if both Atom Smasher and Giganta had the ability to shrink down to normal size, so they could stand like normal, and then when they use their powers to grow and then smash. Marvel Strike Force does that with Wasp and Ant-Man, Giant Man. But now that I've been playing around with that, I kind of see the difference, and I do like that effect. I like how they make them grow, do the stomping move, and then stand back with the group again. But you know, it was also makes them stand out when they're in the lineup, so you know where they're at, who they are. Shazam, otherwise known as Captain Marvel or Billy Batson. That's his nice fancy look. I like this look. I like all the gold. I like the lightning bolt. But what I remember is this one. This is who I grew up with. This is how I looked. And this cape here looks like it's more fitted, so it's not going to do that whole swing around the neck thing. He's not going to wear it over his shoulder and stuff like I've seen in some scenes, you know. The toy was like that too. It spun around the neck and you could hang it over his shoulder and stuff. The Superpowers team toy, if that helps you out at all. And I always loved the red and gold. That was just really cool. I think he was the first hero I remember seeing on TV. Maybe Spider-Man and Amazing Friends, but it was a toss-up between those two because they had what was that called? The Super Shazam Power Hour, something like that. That was a fun cartoon. Alan Scott, Green Lantern. There's his Black Lantern look. His Green Lantern Corps look when he got that costume. I just got this. I never got it the first time. It was always getting it before was always a matter of having the gems. Now they made everything available for cheap because your gems are free. It's easy to get these now, but I don't know. I like it, but it's just not the Alan Scott I know. There's the Alan Scott I know, but to me, the only hang-up I have with this costume is his hair. It looks like it's using too much product, so it just looks too stiff. I like this look better. It just doesn't look like it's so static, you know? And it's still basically the same costume. Got a little more glow to him. But he always had different amounts of glow depending on... And I like the cape. It kind of comes up around like a collar type thing. Circe, I almost called her Scarlet Witch. Because a couple of her costumes look like Wanda's. And there's always that little bit of crossover in the comics. There's her first look, more unique. There's her other Scarlet Witch costume. I'm just gonna go with that now. Uh, there's her. I'm gonna forget. Was it pre 52 or was it new 52? I don't remember. Problem is, I didn't read too many of the Wonder Woman comics to know. But I seen her in different things. I don't remember if they were like animated movies or animated cartoons or something, but she's been in stuff before. Um, this was the latest one, I think, so I just kind of put it on her. Spectre, Troublemaker for All. Oh, that is kind of a cool costume. I just got this recently. I couldn't get it before. Look at that lightning bolt. Oh my goodness. But he's Black Lantern, so he's dead. I think they kind of have the appearance of death since they put him in the ring. Starro version. Oh, I guess he always has the lightning bolt. Why have I not noticed that before? No, he doesn't have it there. Oh, okay, so he doesn't have it on his legendary. I guess because I'm usually viewing him in the field from the back, and you don't see it. It's just around. It's not on his cape. It's just on his arms and legs. Tara, that's her newish. It's new to me. That's her Black Lantern one. It's her standard one. Legendary. I kind of like this one the best. I don't remember what. I wish I'd remembered the titles better for all the different costumes. Stargirl. Like her original the best, but her legendary is pretty good too. See? That's Ghostbusters Stargirl. She looks like the Ghostbusters 2016 character with the hair. I think it's just the hair. It's not. Oh well, I know. It's also those rose-colored glasses because I think that gal wore them in that movie too. Um, it's so funny. I wasn't the only one that saw that either. Someone else said it, and I was like, yeah. And then you almost can't unsee it. I like Courtney's classic costume best. Supergirl. This is her Red Lantern outfit. I really like that costume. It's really nice to have something different after a while because you kind of have this all the time. That's her standard costume, legendary. But her cape look at that point on the cape. That's so different. Yeah, it's a regular cape there. That's her. I don't remember which New 52 costume, I think. And then she's got the point on the. So did she have that on the regular? Maybe no, she didn't. So they kind of changed it around. I still think that I'm going to switch her back to Red Lantern because that's what I like running. Maybe I just like the red and black and silver costumes. I think I said that about somebody else too. Penguin. Boy, proportionally speaking, he's not quite right, maybe? I don't know. Maybe that is right. Okay. So, because I think on the battlefield, it sizes up a little differently depending on where they're out in the field too. There's penguins. It's really hard to tell on these phones, but they have that cigar stick or cigarette stick in there, and it's hard to see. I didn't know for the longest time that he had that. Let's see if he has it in the original version. No, he doesn't. But he has that really long nose. That's great. That is a great look. Look at that little tuft of hair in the back of his head. That's cool. And you can't see that, of course. You don't really see that as much with the coat. It's got the long nose. But yeah, I thought there was, at one point, the only reason I knew he had that was because I saw it like that. I was like, what's on my screen? And I was doing this. And then you can see my little white marker where I'm tapping. And I thought, what's going on? Then I spun him around. I was like, oh, it's part of the skin. It's his little cigarette stick. And I thought that's really kind of cool. I'm kind of surprised they allowed smoking in the game. I mean, there's not really smoking in it. I mean, he's just got a stick in his mouth and he's just chewing on it. Yeah, I'm sure that's all it is. Red Tornado. I got him a while after he came out, but I never got him rebirthed until this last month. I think I rebirthed him once, but I think he kind of got beat out by the meta. It was hard to use him. So it was kind of fun and using him when I could, but you just couldn't use him a lot. Riddler, he's helped me through Nightmare Challenge. Nightmare Challenge was where he really shone through. This is my favorite costume of his because this, when I think of Riddler, this is what I think of as the man in green, green suit, bowler cap. Well, bowler cap, a blue, nice blue hat, that sort of thing. I, not really. This one makes me think of leprechauns. That's and I don't know. He's still at the cap, but his suit's just kind of, it's opened up and it's just kind of like, looks like he's been through the ringer. Like, get this man some help. His clothes are all messed up. We need to get him all dressed up and help him out. There he goes. He's cleaned up and ready to go again. Yeah, it looks like he's in a fight with that one, which, like, battle worn. I don't know. It's just look. I just like this look better. I always see him as seeing himself as kind of more neat and tidy and much kind of like, well, he takes care of himself. That's kind of what I'm used to. I mean, he's kind of in some scenes, I like him best when he's intellectually competing with Batman, and it's fun. Arkham was a good. Of course, he had way different costumes than that, but it's just funny what you kind of grow up with some costumes and you like them, and then it kind of determines what you like afterwards, even when they come up with new ones. Some of the ones I just like are the ones I remember from when I was younger or remind me of that look. We got Larfleeze. I love the fire on Larfleeze. This was great. You know what I said about fire earlier? This is just awesome. Anytime you can add fire to a character and it fits the character, I like it. Of course, this is his orange lantern light. I say that as if you probably don't know, but if you're stuck with this long, you're obviously a DC fan. There's his Black Lantern costume. And then there's the original. This looks good too. I like that orange and black. That is just done really well. I love the glow on his lantern. I'm trying to turn it. If I leave him stand still, he'll turn himself back to the front there. He turned himself there. But yeah, I like the what looks like the fire coming out. And he's still got the little bit of that glow on his lantern too. Zod. Kneel before Zod. That's one of his costumes. He's got a hoodie. I forgot that had a hood on the back. I like this one too. I like all of his costumes are really good. I kind of float through his costumes just depending on what I'm in the mood for when I'm able to use them. Great against evasion teams. Of course, not that that helps you now, but might help you if I get this posted before the end. Batgirl. Like this look. It was funny how I know with the newer comics she incorporates the technology stuff with the phone and stuff more. So that's a little different to me. I'm still used to the old Eva. Is it Yvette Craig? Is that who played her in the '60s? I like that. That was, I think that was the first portrayal of Batgirl. And then she made it to the comics. Wait a minute. How many costumes she got? Just the two. Okay. Yeah, I kind of I didn't have her rebirth very long. That's Star Sapphire. Yeah, she's got me through a few matches too. She became a really strong blue for a while. It's funny because if she dies first, she heals your team, but guess who's always the last to die? Her. So she never heals anybody. But she'd take all the debuffs off. She'd give them all their health back. You'd almost need to put taunt on her if you wanted her to die first, but you don't really want to fight that way. And and you can only put taunt on her with poison ivy. I love this skin. I love how he twirls his gun in his idle motion. It's Mirror Master. He was hard. He's great for slowdown teams, but some of these teams like Mirror Master, Captain Cold, they would slow people down, but they needed time to do that. And a lot of times the meta would kill them off so fast they never had the time they needed to really get slowdown affecting them the way it needed to win. But if you had enough time, if you could somehow buy them enough time, this costume's great because it's the classic look. This is what I think of when I think of Mirror Master. But I love the see-through effect on this one. And you really can see through him. I mean, it's kind of wild. You see both arms. It's crazy. I love that costume. It's just really cool. It almost reminds me of some of the newer... if you look at some of Electro's current iterations, I've been playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. And Electro has a costume similar. It's the mask. It's not the see-through bit, but the mask, the green mask. And I never would have told you green and gold would go well together, but I really liked how this costume did it. And when I saw Electro kind of had a similar thing going on, because he's got kind of the green with the gold too. The gold being the star that he used to wear, but they kind of modified it for that rounded mask. It looks good too. But yeah, if you could get by these guys enough time to get the slowdown going, the other team goes so slow they can't move, and you get him. But the nice thing about Mirror Master was he could clear off buffs. So if someone had a death immunity and you slowed them down where they were never taking a turn to lose it, he could clear that off after a while, and then you could kill him. It was great. It sometimes got into some long matches, and that might have hurt using him, because if you're playing a mobile game, you got to get going. You don't have time to do that. Kilowog, you're too tall. You can't see your eyeballs. Your name and your title are in the way. That's too bad. That's my phone format. If I had a different screen size, I could do this. If I could do this on the tablet, it would look better. But I don't know how to film. I don't. My tablet's not a strong tablet. It's not as strong as my phone. Let's change it. Starro version. Regular version. Loved Kilowog when he came out. He got a little overpowered. Unfortunately, I say the meta, but he got underpowered as newer characters came out, so it's harder to use him. But he had the kind of this nice attack all, and you could stun the primary target. It was great. Poison Ivy. This was her special costume that came out. That's her original look. Legendary. And I kind of like that look the best. I don't know. Enchantress. It's funny because she's a villain in this, but in the DC Heroes and Villains, they made her out to be a hero, and June is in control, and because she's got the, I don't remember how that works. She's got the Enchantress in her. Like if you've seen Suicide Squad, you know about that. There's that look. I think that was her. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get her looks confused. Is that the normal look, or is that the special look now? Because I got one of these recently. That's the original look. Then we have Legendary. Then we have the special one that they released after that. And that one, believe it or not, is Lex Luthor survival suit. This is kind of wild. It really his looks changed the most drastic out of all of them because of this little thing on his arm, his computer. He calls down his satellite to fire. He also can use it to send up an orb. Almost looks like a T-sphere and shoots out a laser at people. It's a little different here because, I'm sorry, that's the legendary look. So it's the same thing here because they didn't do too much change up. But when they went and gave him his tuxedo, they still have the computer there on his arm, but it looks like it's underneath the suit, but you still see the glow. So it mostly operates the same. This thing, completely different. Notice the computer's gone. This one is the Apocalypse version of Lex Luthor. And I remember the name of that because, well, how could you forget it? He sends up a fireball out of his hands, and it shoots the laser out instead of his sphere. And then he also calls down fire from the sky as opposed to a laser beam. Or if I remember right. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up. But he doesn't look like he messes with the computer when he's wearing the skin. It looks like he just does it like it's a power that he has, which would be fitting. Which proves they can do what I always thought they could do, is modify the moves, not just the look, but some of the moves in animation when they change the skin around. Because I always wanted them to put a Jack Nicholson skin on the Joker Damaged Goods, if they ever reworked it, and change his look around, but also change the way he fired his long gun and made it look like the long gun from the 89 movie. So and I thought that would be cool if they did that, because they could sell the skin and also promote the rework and say, hey, look, he's better now, and you can make him look like Jack. Which, no offense against Jared Leto's Joker look, but I mean, it wasn't for everybody, and and also there's, I don't know, it just would have given you more value to the skin. It's Wally West, the Flash. I always wanted him to have his 90s costume where he just looked like the Flash, or a lot of people thought he was still Barry at that time. I think that was probably the Flash I knew the best was Wally's, even though at the time I wasn't able to get a lot of comics. I didn't know they'd switched out the two until the Justice League cartoon, and I really liked Wally's Flash in that cartoon. And then I realized some of these stories from the comics were, when I finally did get back to reading them, I was like, oh, all of these are from Wally's run. And most of the time I had him like this once I got him into Legendary, which to me, I think he got the nickname Iron Flash from the forums. And it doesn't make me think of the Flash when I see this. I like this look better, but I would have loved to having just his regular Flash look. Nightwing. Normal blue, armored blue, and red. I think that was his 52 look. Nubia. Man, she pulled together my Enrage team when I was doing that for a while. The current meta, I never could go back to under the current meta the last year or so, I could never go back to my Enrage team. I was having too much trouble with it, even though I could lead them with Atrocitus. But for a while, I was using her with Atrocitus, Ares. Oh my goodness, that was some fun stuff, because I was doing something different. Deadshot, Suicide Squad. I'll try not to tell too many more stories. I'm just realizing this is going to take forever if I tell a story, but it's kind of how I want to do it, you know? I like this Deadshot. I always thought the look on this one was cool. I think he's based on the movie. Will Smith played him. I just don't think they got the rights to use Will Smith's face. You know, that's kind of one of those things. It's Medphil, affectionately called Broccoli Head in the forums. I think he's more tree, but you know. Love this guy. I loved using him when I could. Last year, so it's been really hard to use him when I wanted to. But his move would put mins on people. They could heal up. He could shield people. He could put invulnerability on people. Just all sorts of cool stuff. Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. Oh my goodness, this guy. I love this guy. I got a Green Lantern ring because of this guy. I'll have to put that in a video sometime, but so y'all can see it. But he's Black Lantern. Standard look, armored look. But he gave you debuff immunity at the start of battle. He could stun with his hammer. He could call assist on his regular punch. He has been great from the very beginning. They gave him a rework, made him a little better, and then I've used him. It was hard to. He had a ton of health, so it's hard to kill him. You could use Ivy to put taunt on him if you wanted to, and she'd give you stamina so when she puts taunt on you, so you could even take even more hits. I only wish he could have reapplied the debuff immunity at some point during his kit, but his shielding would knock down the cooldown on his hammer or any of his lantern attacks, including the shielding. So he could do the shielding more often, but then he could use the hammer more often, and he could keep everybody shielded. That way, it's great. Kid Flash. Also Wally West. Yeah, I forgot to give him the same name and everything. I always thought that was kind of strange. They should have just given him his own name. I mean, that's more than what Marvel did with making Miles Spider-Man. At least Miles isn't like Peter Parker #2. I mean, his classic look's got the yellow and red, which is always cool looking, but I always think of Reverse Flash when it comes to yellow. I know that's a classic costume for the Kid Flash, but I don't know. I kind of like the silver. I didn't like it on the other Wally, but on this one I like the silver. But I guess it doesn't look like armor either. It actually looks like a Flash suit to me. Lois Lane, Superwoman. She's from the Crime Syndicate Earth. I don't remember which Earth it is. Maybe it'll tell us. That was one nice thing about this game. Oh man, I can't catalog all that. I was just thinking it'd be nice if I could. It was nice having this little bio for everybody. You could look up some history, so if you didn't know anything about them, you could get some idea about them. It's just those two. Couldn't remember if she had another. Wait, does she have another one? No. I thought she did. Maybe I missed that one. Harley Quinn, quite vexing. I liked this. I wish she'd gotten a rework. Only if even I think she got a stat boost though. That probably helped her. But I liked her call assist. And there were times when she worked with Joker damage goods before the meta got too crazy last year. I keep saying last year. I don't really know. I'm just generalizing. But before that, at some point, I was able to use her with Joker damage goods on some teams that weren't quite so strong. And her call assist with Joker would get bleeds everywhere because it'd be as basic, which would only spread bleeds based. Everything was chance with Joker damage goods. It made him hard to use if you wanted something reliable. But that was one thing I liked about him. It was always a different play. It was like you felt like you were kind of having a little bit of a gamble with him every time. But when she called assist, his basic, there could be bleeds everywhere. I might have to pause it here, so I will come back in a bit. No, I'm not. I think I'm good. Nope, I will pause it. All right, I'm going to do a couple more, and then I got to go and take a break. Of course, you probably won't notice the break so, if I get this edited properly. But Black Manta, I never got to use him the way I wanted to. I had a bleed team in mind, but he was kind of on the back end when I started doing Legion of Doom members. But he got kind of put towards the end. I didn't have the fragments for him for a long time, so he didn't get upgraded as much as I wanted to. I got him up as high as I could for a while, but I had to put the resources on some other members. We're getting down to the bottom of my 70. Oh, well, my team 76. I went to 76 because it was easier to level up to 76 than to use resources to get everybody to 80. So I could have a larger team of 76 and still compete with the people who were level 80. But he was 70 for a long time. I think, is he still? Yeah, he's still 70. I never got him up to 76. I'm out of meta. I tried to bring a few up to 80 because I wanted to see what it would be like before the game was over. But I realized after I did that, I made the right decision only going to 76 because I wouldn't have been able to level everybody up to 80. I would have been down. I would have had this weird mix for a lot longer. Cyborg, I like this look best because he's less robotic. It kind of, someone made the comment once in the forum, the original forum, that they didn't like his legendary look because he was less human. And one of the things about Cyborg was that because it was like there was they did this in the Teen Titans cartoon before Teen Titans Go, was that his humanity was what was a major part of his story. And so they really, well, there's the golden look. That is a really cool look, but it's almost like the golden Superman. That's a cool look though. But it would have been nice to have had him to seen more of a. It was weird because almost in the model they said that it looked like he lost some of his humanity, and they didn't like that because it didn't feel like Cyborg to them. And I kind of like, yeah, it makes sense. You kind of want the one that looks a little more human, because it does kind of display that in the character. I do like that claw. I love that animation there and his idle stance. That's really cool. And there's Batman. For a long time, when this game first came out, and when I got this Batman, he was the exclusive to the Arena Pack. No, not the Arena Packs. Well, yeah, I think he was in the Arena Pack too, but he was the Arena prize for clearing 10 PvP. And then you get Batman fragments. And then, so I had him a lot of fragments for him. I couldn't get him to RB5 for a long time, though, but I had him legendary early on. But he was the green. Actually, I think his affinity changed from red to green. I don't think it was ever blue, but it was back and forth for a while. But he used to have an AoE attack, which was kind of nice to have at that time. It was the one that takes the stun, not the stun, the taunt off of the taunters now. But my son would call him Lego Batman. And when we changed him and I got him legendary, he looked like this. And my son stopped watching me play as this Batman because he no longer saw him as Lego Batman. And I was like, oh no, there wasn't a way to change him back. And then eventually they gave us the ability to change him back. But by then he no longer called him Lego Batman. So I was a little sad about that because I wanted Lego Batman to go on for a little longer. But he kind of grew out of that phase, you know. He got older and realized this wasn't Lego Batman. This was armored Batman from Batman versus Superman. And he knew the difference there. Mr. Terrific. Oh man, when this guy came out, when he came out, it had been a long time since I actually worked on a new character and get him all the way up to 70, gear 11, and I did that for the first time in a long time, and got him up as high as I could go. I couldn't get him up. I got him all the way to 76, because I was working on JSA team, and so I was glad they added him to the JSA. I was like hoping they'd do Dr. Midnight and a few others. Anyway, I am gonna have to go for now. So, like I said, for you, it won't be as long as for me, but it's going to be kind of a weird cut. Let me see who's next so I know where to go. Aries, that's who we'll start with next time. Talk to y'all. Well, I'll talk to y'all later. I guess I'm not saying goodbye, but I am. We'll talk to you later. Bye.